the guy hit me first. Well, you just killed the dude.
So basically I singled out the black child and called him a thief.
Those people now have worse memories than I do of terrorizing other children, and they have to live with that.
Trying to take it into your own hands because it can get really nasty if it's too far.
I walked into the room
As much as I was...
Hey guys, it's Alice Bradley from Finslippy, and I'm here with my dog Charlie, who's very tired. He's had a hard morning. Anyway, a couple of weeks ago we discussed on Momversation the topic of bullying. Dana from the monologues and GN from Bacon is My Enemy and I talked about what do you do when your child is bullied, whether in school or on the playground. Here's a little bit of what we said.
Our first line of defense definitely with situations like that is to use your words. Try to be diplomatic, try to diffuse the situation, but there may be a time when they come across a kid who just doesn't care about diplomacy and he wants to beat their face in which case they are going to have to stand up and physically defend themselves, and there's nothing wrong with that.
If somebody's pushing him, I don't think there's anything wrong with him pushing back. I don't. Because the last thing I want him to be is the victim. So this was an interesting episode for me. I think I would have thought through my feelings on bullying a little more if I had to do it all over again. I kind of was just throwing the topic out there and for some reason didn't really think it would generate much response, even though, bullying is an incredibly painful topic for so many people. So I don't know what I was thinking. A lot of the original material that we discussed in our raw video footage didn't make the final cut, and here's a little piece that was cut out about my experience as a bully, my short-lived experience, where I did some what I thought was harmless teasing of a boy and learned a lesson that I have not forgotten and never will. Yeah, he was the only black kid in the camp. So basically I singled out the black child and called him a thief. Didn't really think that through. Until one day a counselor called me into a room and I walked into the room and there was this little boy shaking and weeping. And I felt not good. And it was actually a really important lesson for me to learn, and I was way more sensitive to my own teasing of boys after that. The thing about bullying is it's a word that can mean anything from mild teasing to inciting somebody to commit suicide. You know, it's such an incredibly complex topic. So looking back, I'm not surprised that the episode generated the level of passion that it did from so many of our viewers.
I would be proud of my son for standing up for himself. If he were a grown man and did the same thing, I would not be so proud, but he's a little boy who is just learning how to deal with situations. I think I would rather teach my child how to defend himself, but at the same time, teach him how to be kind to others.
I think that comment brings up sort of a tricky part of teaching your kid to deal with bullies. It's like, where do you draw the line between self-defense and the impulse to stand up for yourself, which is commendable, and you'd want your kid to have that, but then you don't want them to be aggressive. Where's that line drawn? And as one of our favorite video commentators, OhanaMama, points out, sometimes the kid who defends himself and hits back can get in just as much trouble as the bully.
I am just worried that, say there is a bully and he hits Cameron and Cameron hits him back and lays him out, Cameron's gonna get in trouble, you know? I mean, in the grand scheme of things. So when you're older, they're always like, you know, you see it on Cops, the television show Cops, and it's like, well, the guy hit me first. Well, you just killed the dude. I mean, you're going to be held responsible. So I just don't want Cameron even involved. So I try to tell him, just go to a person of authority before trying to take it into your own hands, because it can get really nasty if you're taking it into your own hands.
Now, viewer Denise Karras argues that it is never okay to teach your child to hit.
As much as I was bullied in school, and as horrible as some of those memories are, I'm so glad I was not on the other side. Those people now have worse memories than I do of terrorizing other children, and they have to live with that. Your children don't have to cower to bullies, but they also don't have to resort to violence.
I think Denise brings up a really important point. That's the memory of being the aggressor can be just as painful as being the victim, and on top of everything else, you've got guilt you've got to deal with. So teaching your child to hit can certainly be a tricky thing to do. I mean, when is it okay and when is it not okay? That's a topic that experts can't agree on. That said, this was, for me at least, a really valuable conversation to have, and I think the comments brought it to a new level. So thank you all for commenting and viewing, and please join us for the next Momversation.
Join the Momversation at momversation.com.